Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space. And as always, I hope that you enjoy. Story number 1, Babysitter, written by Sinchi Dev. It was a weird idea, like most human ideas, but I have to admit, this one was interesting. I mean, leaving your kids with humans was a risk, but kids never talked back to them or dared to disobey them. Their reputation as fierce warriors preceded them. I had my doubts the first time we did it, but having some free time with my wife was a compelling argument, so we went ahead. Crap, the humans have things figured out. Buying free time for money, that has to be one of the best ideas in the galaxy. To be honest, the biggest issue was who to pick. Male babysitters knew more games and were the most liked by the kids. But kids were more likely to get broken extremities because they'd let them play too rough. Female babysitters were less liked by the kids, but more likely to follow the instructions you as a parent could leave for your kids. This time, we were leaving for a longer time, so we are calling a more experienced one, Mary. Though taller than us, was small for human standards. 1.5 meters, she said. Later, I'd have to look at how much that was in standard galactic units. We live in an average farming colony at the edge of our race's territory. Nothing of value to steal, but pirate raids are always a possibility. We have a small bunker that could hold our kids and a babysitter for the duration of a raid, which is usually one cycle long at most. Our kids love stories about heroes and sleep early. They rarely eat much and could survive for many cycles without much food. They are sweet and well-behaved. We are going off-world to visit my wife's family, and we shouldn't take more than 2 cycles. We gave all of our information to Mary before parting. She nodded vigorously to everything we said and promised us that she would keep our kids safe. The trip to my wife's old world was quite uneventful. The conversation went as usual up until my wife's brother turned the TV on and the emergency broadcast was on. My home, my entire planet was being attacked by pirates. They all looked at us. We left immediately. We made the trip in the shortest time possible. Our military was engaged with the pirates. We could only watch from the sidelines as our military forbade us to interfere, as we would be more a hindrance than an asset. 1 cycle, 2 cycles, 3 cycles. The pirates finally retreat. We were escorted to the coordinates I provided to my home. There's no building standing. I can't see any landmarks I recognized. I can't find my home. One of the soldiers says he found someone. It's Mary. She's covered from head to toe in pirate blood, barely holding a metal bar that she was using as a cane. She's standing, but doesn't move. There's pirate corpses around her. Many pirate corpses. My wife rushes to her. Mary moves her head a little when my wife starts calling for her. My wife asks about our kids. Mary moves her arm with what I can see as a great effort and points to a location. We rush to the place she pointed, and we see the entrance to the bunker. We open it, and there they are. My kids. They're safe! My kids are safe! Screams my wife. We hear a faint, good, from Mary as she collapses. Our military took us to the nearest operative health center. My kids got a full check, no issues. They said that they weren't scared because as soon as they heard the pirates, Mary took them to the bunker. Don't worry, I'll protect you, she said, with a smile, and closed the bunker from the outside. Mary was a different story. She had several trauma injuries, dehydration, hunger effects, lack of sleep, adrenaline overdose, and some other stuff that was human-specific issues that I couldn't understand. The military report arrived shortly after. According to the clues on the battlefield, Mary killed 326 pirates. The destruction around her was caused by the pirates throwing anything they could to take her down. The raid lasted for 3 cycles, during which Mary faced pirate attacks at least every hour. Her parents' arrival was something I dreaded, but they didn't seem angry to me. They were worried about her, obviously. but if anything, they seemed proud of her more than anything. Mary was recovering slowly but surely. Humans sure were something else. The news spread like wildfire. The galaxy was at awe at the humans and rightfully angry at the pirates. Mary recovered enough to talk 9 cycles later, during which she refused to receive more money than the one agreed on for babysitting, claiming that she was just performing her duties. Quite the noble thing to do, considering that our government offered her a good amount of money. Mary became a celebrity, and with her the humans' prowess and babysitters. Mary achieved a full recovery after 100 cycles. Shortly after, 134 cycles after the raid, the human armada in its entirety received permission to move against the pirates that raided my planet. It's been 156 cycles since that day. Mary is visiting us. She talks to us about how she was granted a scholarship to her favorite university, the only thing that she did accept as a reward. While laughing, she also tells us how babysitting became really profitable for humans. There's a special reason why she's with us this night. Today is the day the human armada flies above us before entering pirate territory. The sky is filled with lights from human spaceships. While looking at the sky with my family, I can't avoid feeling grateful that we got a human babysitter. End of story. Story number 2. Human Death, written by Space Orcs Collector. It was a magnificent hall, grander than any mortal could dream of, and dwelling in that hall were beings more terrifying than any mind could fathom. And one word could encompass them all: death. These beings were different deaths of beings across the universe. For an aquatic species, ultimate death would be a volcano, boiling water in which they live. For the silicate species, ultimate death would be a tsunami, which would send them to the depths away from everything. For a herbivore species, ultimate death would be a predator, an unstoppable and remorseless killing machine. For a void-born species, ultimate death would be gravity, the limitless and crushing power of matter. In such a place, one might right assume that nothing could affect these titans, but that is not true, for a rumor began to spread that a death not seen in eons will be coming. The death of humans. Every being imagined him differently. He might be a predator, a natural disaster, maybe a force of nature. What could be a thing that kills the most humans? It might even be all-ending force of entropy. No one knew for sure. While everyone thought and pondered, a small black-hooded farmer wearing a tattered black cloak, holding an old worn but well-kept scythe, entered the hall. He went unnoticed amidst the giants around him, but if you really concentrated, you could feel him come in, feel a small drop in temperature wherever he went, as if atoms themselves respected his presence and slowed down for him to pass. "Hello, everyone. I see some new faces around." Every face in the room turned simultaneously to the source of the sound, but no one could see a being that such a commanding yet soft voice belonged to. They were all looking at their own height, and no one was in front of them. It was a predator, the smallest of all titans, who noticed the hooded figure, noticed and laughed. "Was it you who spoke to us, great being, small one?" "I did, for I am a death, just as you lot are." Silence marked the end of his sentence, followed immediately by rolling laughter and mocking calls. "You're a death!" "Another weak race joined. Wrong hole. Puny creature. How can you strike fear like that?" "I think you're all mistaken." "And why would I be mistaken?" asked the farmer calmly. "There is something you don't understand," sloshed the tsunami. "All of us are death and destruction incarnate, the destroyers of civilizations, enders of species, extinguishers of life. But you are not. The hooded farmer opened up an empty eye socket with a soft sound of bone cracking. "You are tiny," rumbled the volcano in turn. "You look weak. You cannot even take a soul, let alone extinct species. That is why you should not be here. That is your mistake." The condescending attitude oozing out of him as much as the molten rock. The predator circles the farmer, who is a tenth of his size, and whispers, "Besides, whose weak being's death are you? Who would be scared of you?" "Humans." All the deaths stopped dead in their tracks. "Repeat that," said Gravity. "I'm the death of humans," stated the farmer. "Are you mocking us? Is this some kind of sick joke?" stormed the tsunami. The farmer took a deep breath to his non-existent lungs. His breath chilled the room, and with an air of reverence around him he began. "A thing you new deaths don't understand is that size and brutality is not equal to power." Extending his bony hand with his palm upwards, a projection of a green and blue marble upon it, all the while continuing to talk. "All of you instill the fear of death into the beings that already gave up. When you take a soul, it is trembling and begging for mercy. You have never had someone fight you. You have never had to see what it is like taking a soul that refuses to go, no matter what. Having to drag it kicking and screaming away from the one that will die a second time to protect its loved ones. All of you take the form of being's greatest threat and fear. So have I. It was why I respected my humans. No predator can kill them, no tsunami drown them, no volcano burn them, and no gravity hold them. Only a human can take a human." End of story. The algorithm reckons you should be watching this video next, and I recommend that you should be always watching my video. So, click with energy! And yes, clicking that does help the channel. Thank you very much. I just want to give a quick thanks to the Tier 5 patrons and channel members. Alithia, Barky, Fudic Yol, Cam Maxwell, Caspar Onholtz, White Band 420, Lord Asrakal, Arcalian, and Oakfield.